Hello and welcome back. This is Dean Crippen with Dean Crippen Marketing. This is the video 2 of The Law of Success by Napoleon Hill. I'm reading through it. I'm going to start out with Lesson 1, the Mastermind today. I just finished up the statement from the author. I hope you enjoy it. This is a very long chapter, so it could be broken up to 3 or 4 videos. We'll see. Again, I'm going to get right into it. Enjoy the content. May it make you happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. Continuing on. Lesson 1, the Mastermind. This is a course on the fundamentals of success. Success is very largely a matter of adjusting oneself to the ever-varying and changing environments in life in a spirit of harmony and poise. Harmony is based upon understanding the forces constituting one's environment. Therefore, this course is in reality a blueprint that may be followed straight to success because it helps the student interpret, understand, and make the most of these environmental forces of life. Before you begin reading the Law of Success lessons, you should know something of the history of the course. You should know exactly what the course promises to those who follow it until they have assimilated the laws and principles upon which it is based. You should know its limitations as well as its possibilities as an aid in your fight for the place in the world. From the viewpoint of entertainment, the Law of Success course would be a poor second for any of the monthly periodicals of the snappy story variety which may be found upon newsstands of today. This little side note: some of the stuff in this book is a little dated, but it's still relevant. So don't get too put off by it. But again, the content is extremely valid and extremely potent. So let me continue on. The course has been created for the serious-minded person who devotes at least a portion of his or her time to the business of succeeding in life. The author of the Law of Success course has not intended to compete with those who write purely for the purpose of entertainment. The author's aim in preparing this course has been of twofold nature, namely, first, to help the earnest student find out what his or her weaknesses, and secondly, to help create a definite plan for bridging those weaknesses. The most successful men and women on earth have had to correct certain weak spots in their personalities before they began to succeed. The most outstanding of these weaknesses, which stand between men and women and success, are as follows: intolerance, cupidity, greed, jealousy, suspicion, revenge, egotism, conceit, the tendency to reap where they have not sown, and the habit of spending more than they have, or more than they earn. All of these common enemies of mankind, and many more not here mentioned, are covered by the Law of Success course in such a manner that any person of reasonable intelligence may master them with but little effort or inconvenience. You should know at the very outset that the Law of Success course has long since passed through the experimental state, that it already has to its credit a record of achievement that is worthy of serious thought and analysis. You should know also that the Law of Success course has been examined and endorsed by some of the most practical minds of the generation. The Law of Success course was first used as a lecture and was delivered by its author in practically every city and in many of the smaller locations throughout the United States over a period of more than 7 years. Perhaps you were one of the many hundreds of thousands of people who heard this lecture. During these lectures, the author had assistants located in the audience for the purpose of interpreting the reaction of those who heard the lecture, and in this manner he learned exactly what effect it had upon people. As a result of this study and analysis, many changes were made. The first big victory was gained for the law of success philosophy when it was used by the author as the basis of a course with which 3,000 men and women were trained as a sales army. The majority of these people were without previous experience in any sort of field in the field of selling. Through this training, they were enabled to earn more than $1 million for themselves and paid the author $30,000 for his services covering a period of approximately 6 months. The individuals and small groups of salespeople who have found success through the aid of this course are too numerous to be mentioned in this introduction, but the number is large and the benefits they derived from this course were definite. The law of success philosophy was brought to the attention of the late Don R. Mellett, former publisher of the Canton, Ohio News, who formed a partnership with the author of the course and was preparing to resign as publisher of the Canton Daily News and take up the business management of the author's affairs when he was assassinated on July 16, 1926. Pretty brutal. 1926 he got murdered. Prior to his death, Mr. Mellett had made arrangements with Judge Elbert H. Gary, who was the then chairman of the board for the U.S. Steel Corporation, to present the Law of Success course to every employee of the Steel Corporation at a total cost of something like $150,000. This plan was halted because of Judge Gary's death, but it proves that the author of the Law of Success has produced an educational plan of an enduring nature. Judge Gary was eminently prepared to judge the value of such a course, and the fact that he analyzed the Law of Success philosophy and was preparing to invest a huge sum of $150,000 in it is proof of the soundness of all that is said in behalf of the course. You will observe in this general introduction to the course a few technical terms which may not be plain to you. Do not allow this to bother you. Make no attempt at first reading to understand these terms. They will be plain to you after you read the remainder of the course. This entire introduction is intended only as a background for the other 15 lessons of the course, and you should read it as such. You will not be examined on this introduction, but you should read it many times, as you will get from it at each reading a thought or an idea which you did not get on the previous readings. In this introduction you will find a description of a newly discovered law of psychology, which is the very foundation stone of all the outstanding personal achievements. This law has been referred to by the author as the master mind, meaning a mind that is developed through the harmonious cooperation of two or more people who ally themselves for the purpose of accomplishing any given task. If you are engaged in the business of selling, you may profitably experiment with this law of the mastermind in your daily work. It has been found that a group of 6 or 7 salespeople may use the law so effectively that their sales may be increased to unbelievable proportions. Life insurance is supposed to be the hardest thing to sell on earth to sell. This ought not to be the true. With an established necessity such as life insurance, but it is. Despite this fact, a small group of men working for the Prudential Life Insurance Company, whose sales are mostly small policies, formed a little friendly group for the purpose of experimenting with the new law of the mastermind, with the result that every man in the group wrote more insurance during the first 3 months of the experiments than he had ever written in an entire year before. What may be accomplished through the aid of this principle by any small group of intelligent insurance salesmen who have learned how to apply the law of the mastermind will stagger the imagination of the most highly optimistic and imaginative people. The same may be said of other groups of salespeople who are engaged in selling merchandise and other more tangible forms of service than life insurance. Bear this in mind as you read this introduction to the law of success, and it is not unreasonable to expect that this introduction alone may give you sufficient understanding of the law to change the entire course of your life. It is the personalities back of the business which determine the measure of success of the business will enjoy. Modify those personalities so they are more pleasing and more attractive to the patrons of the business, and the business will thrive. In any of the great cities of the United States, one may purchase merchandise of a similar nature and price in scores of stores. Yet you will find there is always one outstanding store which does more business than any of the others, and the reason for this is that back of the store is a man or men who has attended to the personalities of those who come in contact with the public. People buy personalities as much as merchandise, and it is a question of if they are not influenced more by the personalities with which they come in contact with than they are by the merchandise. Life insurance has been reduced to such a scientific basis that the cost of insurance does not vary to any great extent, regardless of the company from which one purchases it. Yet, out of the hundreds of life insurance companies doing business, less than a dozen companies do the bulk of the business in the United States. Why? Personalities. 99% out of every 100 who purchase life insurance policies do not know what it is what's in their policies, and seem to be more startling not to seem to care. What they really purchase is the pleasing personality of some man or woman who knows the value of cultivating a personality. Your business in life, or at least the major portion of it, is to achieve success. Success within the meaning of the term as covered by the course on the 15 laws of success is the attainment of your definite chief aim, without violating the rights of other people. Regardless of what your major aim in life may be, you will attain it with much less difficulty. After you learn how to cultivate and be a pleasing personality, and after you have learned the delicate art of aligning yourself with others in a given undertaking without friction or envy. One of the greatest problems of life, if not in fact the greatest, is that of learning the art of harmonious negotiations with others. This course was created for the purpose of teaching people how to negotiate their way through life with harmony and poise, free from destructive effects of disagreement and friction, which bring millions of misery to people they want. With this statement, the purpose of the course, you should be able to approach the lessons with a feeling that a complete transformation is about to take place in your personality. You cannot enjoy outstanding success in life without power, and you can never enjoy power without sufficient personality to influence other people to cooperate with you in a spirit of harmony. This course shows you, step by step, how to develop such a personality. Lesson by lesson, the following is a statement which you may expect to receive from the 15 laws of success. Okay, this point I'm going to stop this video and I'm going to continue with the 15 laws of success on the next video. See you on the next video.